Another example of the marginal analysis. This problem, we consider the marginal cost function, the C prime x equals 0.06 x squared minus 6x plus 180. Part A, we are going to find the additional cost incurred in dollars when production is increased from 5 to 11 units, which means we are going to find the difference of the cost of producing 11 items and the cost of producing 5 items, which is technically the definite integral from 5 to 11 of the marginal cost with respect to x. For the second part, if the C at 5 is 354, we're gonna find the C at 11 or the cost of producing 11 items using the answer from part A. So that means from part A, whatever we come up with, we're gonna solve for C at 11, which is the C at 5 plus the definite integral from 5 to 11 of the marginal cost with respect to x. So let's get started with part A, which is about finding the additional cost. So part A, the additional cost would be the C at 11 minus C at 5 equals the definite integral from 5 to 11 of the marginal cost with respect to x. The marginal cost is given by the function 0.06 times x squared plus 6x plus 180 with respect to x. Find the antiderivative of each term. The first one, the 0.06 is the constant multiple, and x squared as a power, x to the power r, where r equals 2. The second term is the constant multiple as well, where x as a power function as x to the power r or r equals 1. The last one is just the constant function, constant k. So the antiderivative of the first term, the constant multiple 0.06 multiplied by the derivative of x squared, which is x to the power 2 plus 1 becomes 3. So divided by 3 minus 6 as a constant multiple multiplied by the derivative of x to the first, which is x to the 1 plus 1 becomes the power 2 divided by 2. And then plus the antiderivative of 180, which is 180 times x. And we are going to evaluate from x equals 5 to x equals 11. The next part, we just simplify as much as we can. The 3 and 0.06 reduced to be 0.02. 2 and 6 reduced to be the number 3. Now we should have 0.02 times x to the third minus 3 times x to the second plus 180 times x as the simplified antiderivative of the marginal cost. And next we are going to evaluate at those two limits or those upper and lower limits. Recall, we're gonna replace the x with the upper limits first. So the first group is 0.02 times 11 to the power minus 3 times 11 to the second power plus 180 times 11, and then subtracted by another quantity from replacing x with the value 5. So 0.02 times 5 to the third minus 3 times 5 to the second, and then plus 180 times 5. And we're going to use the calculator to get this number out. Okay, from the calculator, I'm going to enter like the quantity. So put the parentheses 0.02 multiplied by 11 to the power 3 minus 3 times 11 to the power second plus 180 times 11 and close the parentheses. That's for the group or the quantity from replacing x with the upper limit. And then the next one, we're going to subtract by the quantity from replacing x with the lower limit. 0.02 times 5 to the power 3 and minus 3 times 5 to the second power and plus 180. Oops, I mistyped it. So give me 180 and then multiply by 5 and close it and enter. We will get the number 816.12. And this is the value for the additional cost of changing from producing 5 units to producing 11 units. So this is part A, which is the additional cost. So I put a note here. In part B, we are going to find the cost of producing 11 items if the C at 5 or the cost at producing 5 items is given as 354. And we're going to use the information from part A. From what we have from part A, the additional cost, which is the difference of the cost of producing 11 items and the cost of producing 5 items is 816.12. Therefore, the cost of producing 11 items is the cost at producing 5 items plus 816.12. And the number for the cost of producing 5 items is 354. So we're going to add 354 to 816.12, and the number will come out as 1170.12 as the cost of producing 11 items.